Kevin, how are you? Thank you for coming. Roy, how are you? Thank you for coming. Yeah, man, what's up?
Thank you guys for having us. We're glad to be here as usual. I'm just happy to see Kevin get the opportunity to come back and rewrite his career.
So how long have you been working with Kevin?
How long has it been, Newman?
We started around like 2018, kind of like on and off, and then but the last 2 years since 2020, since the whole pandemic, we've been working together, day in and day out.
So have you been doing that here in Vegas, or do you go down to Pensacola?
Pensacola.
He comes to Pensacola. It's better to come away from your distractions. He's from Vegas. I can't teach you nothing when you're focusing on your kids and your wife and well, not your wife, but your family, your parents. You got everybody here that knows you. It's very difficult to focus on boxing when you're in your own environment. That's why boxers like myself, when we had big fights or even just regular championship fights, we went away for camp because you can't focus at home. Too many distractions.
Champ, didn't you play a basketball game before a title fight? Wouldn't you say that was a bit of a distraction?
That's not a distraction at all. That's my everyday life. That's what I do for real, you feel me? And basketball and boxing are so parallel, much more than people know that they are. And it's like there's so much into the basketball part of it that I could break down for you that will make you totally understand. But let me just give you one example. Because I played in front of a crowd 3 times a week, before I fought Lou Del Valle for the WBA unification title fight, I only sparred 4 rounds for the whole camp.
Wow.
Why? Because I was playing basketball in front of a crowd every night. You can't get better sparring than playing in front of a crowd every night. That crowd drains you. That's why people don't understand why some guys are so good in the gym, but they can't do it in the boxing ring. That crowd drains you. If you don't know how to perform in front of that crowd, you got problems. I was playing in front of a crowd 3 times a week, and I was highly nervous because basketball ain't my thing. I'm a boxer that was trying to play basketball. So I got nervousness on me. I'm trying to run the plays. I'm playing the point guard position. I'm out here in front of a crowd. Got to do the right thing against Division I players. You understand me? I'm putting myself under a lot of pressure. But when it came time to fight, I was so conditioned from playing in front of that crowd that when I fought Lou Del Valle, I had 4 rounds, maybe 6 rounds of sparring at the most. One day, 6 rounds. That's it. And I went 12 rounds better than I ever went in my life.
So that being said, what have you made the crowd for Kevin Newman here?
Well, the crowd for Kevin Newman is performing in front of me because it's a lot of pressure to perform in front of your idol. You understand me? If you put Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard out there and tell me to perform, I'm going to have a hard time just because I'm going to be under so much pressure because these are my guys looking at me. I got to show them what I learned from watching them. You understand me? What I've added to what they did. If I don't show them that, then what use is it for them to come waste their time watching me? So the fact that I'm there and I'm on his back day in and day out, that's that same thing as having an audience because for us, we rather please our idol than to please the audience. We want our idol to think, the most of us think that we're making progress more so than we even do the crowd. So for me, just the pressure being under my tutelage is his crowd.
Kevin, I want to ask, since we're talking about pressure, is there any, or has it been alleviated now that you're not facing your original opponent of Chris Pearson, who I'm sure you knew well? So, that has to have something in itself.
I mean, pressure to me is it could be self-inflicted, and then pressure can make diamonds or bust pipes, however which way you can handle it, So for me, like he said, the pressure was put on in the gym, day in and day out. But as far as the opponents, there's no pressure, man. I'm just gonna go out there and do me, and being the best me, gets the job done, no question.
Now this next question obviously might be self-explanatory since we just seen Chris Eubank Jr. commentating on the KSI card in London, but being as though that's another fighter under Roy's tutelage and a stablemate, have you gotten any work with him for this camp?
No, not for this camp, but me and Chris, we've been sparring together since we were 18, 19 years old. We've known each other for a long time. We're good friends, so, we don't, Roy always says you don't have friends in your weight class above or below, but me and him, we've been close, before we really started getting deep into the boxing thing. So, but I wish him the best with his fight, and I look forward to it. But no, we did not box this camp.
And with the opponent switch, has there been any change in the weight, the contracted weight for this fight, or are you still scheduled to be on the same weight as your Chris Pearson fight?
This one is still for 168 because we're fighting for WBA, NABA, silver super middleweight title. So, you know, there's no change in the weight. It's still 168.
Beautiful, beautiful. So makes the next question even better. You don't look drawn out. You don't look like a fighter that is about to go make weight. So camp looks like it went very well for you.
Yeah, camp went really well. I mean, you know, of course we have our struggles. You know, we had the pains and stuff like that, making the weight. But as of right now, you know, I feel real good. You know, so that's the main thing. When you do things the right way, you know, you're gonna have those pains on weigh-in day. Of course, we all do. You know, just because it looks like this on the outside don't mean that you don't feel on the inside. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you have those struggles, but you know, you do the right things, and you put the right things in your body, you'll be all good.
I mean, it's Thursday. You look happy.
I feel great, man. I'm just happy. You know, I'm just happy to be back in Vegas. 2 years, I haven't fought here in 2 years, and you know, I'm happy to be back with Roy. And this time is gonna be some totally different. You know, definitely a special attraction, man. On Saturday.
You sound like you want to make a statement.
Absolutely, every fight for me, you know, I got to make a statement. Y'all know you've been following my career for a while. You know, the highs and lows, but I'm only interested in highs. And right now, every fight for me, every night out that I go out there and perform is a statement. It has to be.
For sure. And this main event opportunity, how'd that come about?
I received a call from a couple guys from here, and they were like, yo, you know, we got this card coming up. You want to fight? I said, absolutely. They was like, okay. I said, where is it at? They said, in Vegas. I said, let's do it. I hit up Roy. I told him we actually had a fight scheduled, but I had to turn that down, you know, because this was such a great opportunity, you know, to come back to Vegas after 2 years and, you know, perform and be in front of my family, my friends, and all the people that support me here. And, you know, me and Roy we took a different route for a couple years. We got a couple different fights and stuff like that, and kind of fell back behind the scenes to kind of rebuild this machine, you know. So it's exciting to be able to put that on display on Saturday.
Now, I know you announced on your Instagram about 5 or 6 days ago about Cepeda, but when did you know that Chris was out?
I found that out maybe like the day before I posted that. Excuse me. But yeah, you know, I guess he had an injury in camp, so it kind of derailed that fight. You know, we were stablemates at one point, but it was a fight that everybody was looking forward to, you know, myself, because the fact that, you know, he has a name, you know, he had a name. But at the end of the day, no matter who's put in front of you, it's your job to go out there and perform and put on the best performance that you could put on. So whether it be Chris Pearson, Hector Zepeda, or whoever, that's all I have to do.
Kevin, gotta ask you, some people would say that there's pressures of fighting at home. You know, people calling you up for tickets, you know, things like that. Do you feel any of that now that the fight is only a few days away?
I mean, you know, I've been around the block a few times with this, you know, so I came up fighting here on under Mayweather Promotions at the, you know, on all the cards out here. So, you know, this time it's like I put everything to the back burner, and you know, I post the link. You know, if you need the link, you know where the link to the tickets is. Of course, you know, my family that they're taken care of, you know, my close friends. But as far as that, man, you know, I'm not putting that extra pressure. I made those mistakes before. You know, people of course are gonna ask, but you know, I just redirect them to someone else and just focus on what I need to focus on.
Roy, congratulations getting inducted this past weekend, Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. Talk about it. How was that moment to share it along, not just yourself, but so many other great legends?
Yeah, it was a beautiful moment. Shared with so many great legends was a beautiful thing. And to be honest, man, it's like, it's very diplomatic and it's different. But for God to bless you to be, I mean, amongst the elite, and even in this day and age, it was 2 people that got put in 21. That was myself and Floyd Mayweather. How much better than that can you get? You understand me? So it's like, it was an awesome night. Everybody had very good speeches. Everybody was very classy, and I really appreciated it, and I really enjoyed it. And I just want to say thank you to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame again for doing a great job on that night.
Looking back on your career, Roy, when you were a fighter, what did you see as the ultimate achievement to you? You know, you did a lot of great things, but during the time that you were fighting, what was the pinnacle for you as a fighter?
What you mean?
As far as accomplishments, as far as your goals.
You saying when I was fighting?
Yes, when you were fighting.
You know what my goal was? to be the best dude in my weight class, period. And once I conquer my weight class, go up and conquer the next one. And I wanted the baddest, best fighter, to whoever was close by me. You didn't have to be in my weight. If you was close, I need to see you because I wanted to prove that I was, pound for pound, the king of the hill. You understand me? That's why at one point I had 7 belts as a light heavyweight. I moved up at 60. I couldn't do it because of the promotional issues. I wasn't with particular promoters, so you weren't gonna get shots at particular champions. At 68, I couldn't do it because once again, I wasn't with particular promoters, and you wasn't gonna get the opportunity. So I went to 75. A lot of people were clean. Only belt I couldn't get was the one that Darius Mikucheski had over there in Germany, and he wouldn't bring it over here. But if I got 7 and you got 1, who's the king of the hill? I am. So if you want to see me, come to the bottom of my hill and walk up. I got you. I want you to come to it because anybody that want it, I want to give it to you. And that's just that simple. That's who I was. I woke up every day looking for the next challenge. You understand me? That's just the way I was taught. That's how I learned from the old school. That's how I learned from the Rocky Marcianos, the Sugar Ray Robinsons, the Sugar Ray Leonard, the Muhammad Ali, the Thomas Hitman's Hearns, the Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran started as a lightweight. Some of his most memorable fights were at welterweight and middleweight. You understand me?
Absolutely.
Come on, bro. That's a man that's going hunting for the best. That's what I was taught. That's who I was fed by. Those guys fed my spirit before I became a boxer. You understand me? They fed my spirit before the world knew who I was. So when I saw what they did, same spirit I had. And I just wanted to play King of the Hill. But that was just my way. That don't mean that's for everybody, but that was just my way.
What fighters in boxing today do you believe have that same mentality and display it?
Numero uno is Terrence Crawford. I think number 2, Canelo wanted to. He tried. I mean, he did. He took it far as he could, and he displayed it. He kept going up and up and up until he reached his pinnacle. Then he got to come back down, but he did try it. So you got to get it to him too. But I think Bud Crawford definitely wants to be the best anywhere around. He don't care about his weight class. He'll go up or down. He just want to fight the best. And it's a lot of guys that probably are like that. They just haven't had the opportunity to show it yet. Even my man.
I mean, Roy, he goes up and down, but he doesn't go up and down. Like Canelo went from 60 to 68, then to 75, back down to 68, back up to 75. Like Terrence, I love him. He's doing his thing, but he'll stay in a division until he's done, get to the next division until he's done. He's been at 47, waiting until he gets that big fight to be done. He didn't move up to 54. He could challenge Jermell Charlo. Yes, he's been vocal, but that hasn't happened. Gennady, like if people was asking Floyd, who was a 47-pounder, to fight Gennady, why can't you fight 40-year-old Gennady? Like Canelo's jumping around. You know, other guys are taking.
You talking about Crawford?
Yeah, I'm talking about
Okay.
Crawford.
So let me say this just for you. Crawford is a guy. He believes in what I believed in. You can't go nowhere till you clean out the division. So truthfully, Canelo should have never left 68 until you cleaned out 68 because there's a David Benavidez there, there's a Charlo there. You shouldn't have left 68 until you cleaned out 68. Crawford wanted to clean it out before he leave. He cleaned out 40 before he went to 47.
But you
understand?
yourself.
Wait, let me finish. He trying to clean out 47, which is why he want to fight the next best fighter there, which is Errol Spence, before he even think about going to see Charlo, which he should do because if you're not the best at 147, who believes you're going to go up and beat Charlo? So you got to have a reason. You got to create some merit to your. It got to be a method to your madness.
I mean, you just said it. Your own career. You said I wasn't with certain promoters,
That
so
too.
I couldn't get certain champions.
That too.
Crawford's not with certain promoters,
Yep.
certain entities. He can't get certain champions. So you made it happen somewhere else. Go make it happen somewhere else.
No, I agree with that. I do agree with that. But what I'm saying, having with Charlo and Spence, that's the same place. So he got to go somewhere outside them two
Yeah.
because that's the same place. So it don't make sense.
Well,
to go,
I mean, there was an
I'm just saying-
opportunity.
I'm saying it don't make sense to go to Charlo, who's bigger, when they were the same person.
Well, see, there was a small window. I don't know if you remember. I think you called that fight. I'm not sure. But anyway, never mind that. Carlos Adames lost to Patrick Teixeira. Teixeira won the 54-pound title. It was on the same side of the street when Crawford was still over there.
Right.
But, you know, he mentioned it. I'm not saying he didn't mention it. It just didn't happen, you know. But guys like Canelo, they are taking them. And I know Canelo's in a promotional different, obviously.
Situation.
He can do what he wants.
So let me just say this much too. The game has changed. You feel me? The way Mayweather did the game changed the game a lot because it showed people that if you do certain things, you can make a lot more money while you're doing the same thing. You feel me? So now guys have to also factor in where is my payday? You understand me? Me, I didn't have sense of the fact ain't no payday. I just wanted to win. You understand me? So I did it not necessarily the smartest way, but the way that I was taught to do it. You feel me? Crawford and them now understand that, you know, I can go fight that guy, but if I lose to that guy who's bigger than me and I have no real reason to go up there and fight him right now, except that I want the WBA or whatever title it was at super middleweight, at junior middleweight, why would I not wait for my payday fight with Spence, who I think I truly can beat? You feel me? So that's the way probably.
I just don't want him to lose because he was waiting.
Yeah, but it's too late for that. Now, look how long he done waited. It's too late. It's too late. They both waiting. So it's too late for that. And I understand what you're saying, but it's like it's too late for that. So here's the fact of the matter is, it ain't going to be because you're waiting. The fact of the matter is, you know that fight is glooming. He know that fight is glooming. So if you're sitting around waiting, then you're crazy. Because if you're going to do it, you should be staying ready to do it. If you're not going to do it, then go ahead and do something else. That's true. But that's what you got to do in boxing. You got
a lot of rumors.
So
a lot of rumors saying
longer?
November. A lot of rumors saying November.
Yeah, I was gonna say how much longer, Roy? We haven't seen Terrence in the ring since November. A lot of rumors are saying November, the same weekend that he fought last year against Sean Porter. How much longer do you think is too long?
If it didn't happen in November, if I was him, I'd walk away from it and go ahead and start looking for the next best thing, because y'all got to remember, there's a young guy coming up who I would love to see him fight too by the name of Jerron Ennis. You understand me? So that's another good fight. We can move on to a bigger, better fight, or a better fight, because if we can't get this guy in the ring, go to the next best opponent. And Enos, I think right now is the better opponent outside of Spence. I like Spence. I think that Spence fight is one of the best fights that can be made right now. People asked me not long ago, what fight do you want to see? I want to see Crawford and Spence. Because, yeah, we all have our certain thoughts about it, but our thoughts don't mean a thing. That's two great fighters. I want to see those two great fighters with no losses on their record get in there and show us is what we think is true. You understand me? So, I mean, both fighters are great fighters. I just want to see them fight. And it's good for both of them, and it's good for boxing. Because if they have a very good one match, we're going to all want to see it again. If they have a very good two fights, we're going to all want to see it again. You understand me? Before they get to Enos.
Kevin, do you, I guess, fantasize of having a nemesis in boxing like that, the way that Mayweather had Pacquiao, and obviously Wilder has Joshua, and now we're talking Terrence has his Earl. Do you want to have your whoever's across the ring that you believe is a big fight that the public would love?
Of course. I mean, all fighters want to have that rival opponent, you know, someone that it's a pick 'em fight to the people, where people get behind this guy and they get behind you. You know, as a competitor, you want that. Absolutely. You know, so definitely, you know, moving forward in my career, you know, the further I get, I'm looking forward to those type of challenges for sure.
And having this be your second fight of the year, it seems like there may be time. Is that something you and the team are considering, if you can get through this the way you expect, to get another one in before the end out?
We want to be as active as possible. Of course, we're not looking past this Saturday, but activity is a must and key for me right now. You know, I'm a late bloomer, but I'm entering my physical prime. You know, I'm feeling the best I've ever felt, mentally, physically, speed, power, everything is adding up. So it's like now is the time to get that ball rolling and just be extremely busy.
How was it out in Pensacola? I've never been up that far. I have a house in Sarasota, which has got to be like 5 hours from you guys. 8? Look at that.
Damn, I'm thinking we could just drive.
He was just asking me in the elevator, like, yo, so how many hours you think it is from Pensacola if we ever go see them train? I'm like, I think 5. You guys are up there, but how is it out there?
I love it, man. It's home to me now. You know, home away from home. I damn near feel better there than I do here. You know what I'm
Really?
saying? Yeah, man. I enjoy it. You know, the weather, the training, you know, the focus that I have. It's a small place, but I mean it's good people down there. You know, and it's just, I don't know, it's just for me right now. You know, so I really like it. I really enjoy being there, and it's just like a place of like just peace for me.
It's like 86 degrees today out there, but I thought Roy, I mean, obviously you know more. Doesn't it get cold up there though?
Heck yeah, it gets cold up there. And
How low could it get?
It gets like, we had it down to 15 degrees.
Damn.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It gets cold. 18 feels like you're in a freezer because of the humidity. So it gets very cold there. But
Speaking of that humidity, was it better for you to lose weight? I mean, I'm sure those runs you was coming back soaked, because I sweat like a dog out there.
Man, listen, training in Florida is that humidity is different.
Yeah.
I mean, the runs, the training in the gym, I mean, that type of humidity gets you ready for whatever. you know, and it does, you know, it really does suck the life out of you and drain you, but it makes you that much stronger, you know, when on fight night you know that you done been through all those type of that type of stuff, you know, that type of climate. So, you know, on fight night, it's like, you know, we're in the air conditioning now, so it's all good.
So, being as though that you've been out here in Vegas and have done numerous camps here, which do you find easier in terms of climate and weather to lose the weight?
Florida.
Okay.
Florida for sure. Because just like I said, the humidity just makes you sweat like crazy. But I mean, it's a little easier to train here in the sense of, you know, you don't drain out as quick. But training in his gym at the ranch, I mean, it's something different. Ain't no AC. You know, you in a big old plane hangar, and you know, it's nothing but just hot, humid air with fans blowing more humid air on you.
No mosquitoes?
Oh man, it's some of the craziest bugs you ever see out there, man. Listen, they got snakes, they got that I haven't seen yet, but they got snakes. I seen a moth in the gym one day. It was like this big, no lie. You know, they got all kind of bugs, all kind of flies. Flies land on you and bite you while you're training, all kind of crazy
Man, you
stuff.
better keep a little deuce on
Man,
you.
listen, you got listen. He got them all. He got them all out there. You got to have it. You got to have it out there, man, because it's definitely it's a wild place, man. But it's what I love about it is you go out, you know, you see all the animals and you see the birds, you see the ducks, you see the roosters, you see everything, man. It just you know, it gives you a different outlook on life when you can be around all these different animals, see how they move, see how they act and stuff like that. And it's just a cool place to be, man. I see why, you know, he spent a lot of time out there during his career.
How was that very first camp? Did you ever have that, man, I got to get out of here moment because, you know, you're a city slicker, so to speak?
He did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, listen, so I came down there, I said, wait a second. I said, you know, this is my idol. You know, this is my favorite fighter. So I come down there, I seen the highlight videos of him training and stuff. I get down there and I'm like, this is how Roy Jones trained? This is what the man himself did? And I was like, man, I don't know about this. So I was like, I don't know if I could get in shape for a fight like this. So because it was basically centered around shadow boxing, because he's teaching fundamentals. We're not doing flash pads. I done all that. It looks great. I did that from the day I started boxing. But learning the fundamentals was where I missed out a lot on. You know, so he was breaking it down and we was shadow boxing for days. And I remember him coming back because one day I was just like, I didn't feel like I was training hard enough, but then he put me through a real session and he was like, can you get in shape for a fight like this? I said, oh yeah, absolutely. And ever since then, you know, I trust his training methods more than anything I've ever done. Sometime when you're comfortable doing something, you think it's the best thing for you. So you get used to doing it. Like I thought that hitting the heavy bag and the pads and everything every single day was what I needed to do. But in reality, I got burnt out, you know, having, you know, 3 fights back to back and doing the same thing in camp for, you know, 8 weeks at a time, back to back to back to back. And it's just like your mind's not working. It just bores you. By the time you get to by the time I got to my last camp, I was just bored. And I was just like, just going through the motions at that point. Didn't mean I wasn't hungry, but it was just boring. I mean, with him, we learn something new every single day, or we build on something that we learned the previous day. So it just continuously heightens your game, man.
Now I gotta ask, obviously it's the country. So how's the sparring?
I mean, we you know what? Roy has some good fighters around my weight class that I get a chance to spar with, but we bring guys in. Guys come from Alabama, they come from, you know, we'll go to New Orleans to spar. You know, they come from all around, and if Roy calls, they come. So, you know, sparring is never an issue, and it's not necessarily the caliber but it's about what you do in the sparring. And that's what I'm starting to learn. It's being in Floyd's gym from when I was younger and growing up, I got to box with a lot of really good fighters, you know, Badu Jax and Andre Anthony Durrell, a lot of guys I got to box with. So I learned, I had a good learning curve with that. But it comes a time when, you know, you got to be able to go out there no matter who you're boxing with and execute whatever it is that your coach wants you to execute. So with me, what Roy will do with me is he'll give me one hand. So I only got one hand, and I got to figure out how to get this, that, and this off just this one hand. So it's like taking something away from you, but it's adding to your game. So it's making you so much dominant with just one of your weapons. Now, what about when you add the second one? And what about when you add all the other stuff? So it's like, if he knows that I'm going to spar with a guy that's not necessarily on my level, okay, cool. Well, I'm taking all these tools from you. Now you got to figure out how to do. While he's trying to come knock your head off, you got to figure it out with just this one.
I got to ask, Nuss thinks that Roy has implemented a lot of his style into Chris Eubank Jr.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that you've picked up some of Roy now that you've been under his tutelage?
Well, when I first started boxing, I wanted to box like Muhammad Ali and Roy Jones, right? So I used to just watch all their stuff. Now, I used to do things that they would do, but I never understood how to do them. So, of course, learning from him, you're going to pick up things, but it makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? He makes it make sense. And you could literally go back, we'll work on some in the gym, and you go back and watch one of his fights, and you see him do it. I send him stuff all the time. And I'm like, man, you just showed us this in the gym, and you see that it works, and that's the thing. So with Chris, I think it's not necessary that he's trying to fight like Roy or I'm trying to fight like Roy. No, we're ourselves, but he's adding different wrinkles to our game. He's helped Chris get his feet together. Chris had no feet. And now you see Chris move around and everybody's saying, oh, he's trying to fight like Roy. No, he's using more attributes. He's adding more attributes to his game. Does that mean he needs to box and move against every fighter he fights? No, there's some guys he gonna have to go out and get him up out of there. But he already had that. So now Roy's adding other wrinkles to his game. Same thing with me. It's like he's teaching me how to use all my tools. It's good to have speed. It's good to have reflexes and power. But what if you don't know? What if you don't know how to use it correctly? So it's like we're not gonna be Roy Jones. There's only one Roy Jones. There's only one Kevin Newman. There's only one Chris Eubank. The best thing about it is he always says it. He works with our DNA. If he knows we have fast hands, we have fast feet, and we got solid power, he can do certain things with us that he may not be able to do with other guys. But the fundamentals are all the same. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the best way to break it down.
Yeah, so I never I always use it as a term of endearment when I'm talking about Roy and Chris. I feel like you've done a magnificent job with him. I say this generation's Roy Jones. Like, I haven't seen anyone throw a triple left hook other than you. So I think he's doing great under your tutelage.
And he's doing it effectively. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So when we seeing it, it's like, it ain't like he trying it because Roy made it make sense. So when he doing it, it makes sense.
So I put it like this. My last fight, we were on our way from New Orleans. We were sparring. He said, Kevin, man, you're so fast. He said, you're quick enough to get a lead left hook off to the body on anybody, whether they throw a jab, whether they throw a right hand, or you could just go with it. I said, really? I said, okay, cool. So I was like, okay. This is 2 weeks before our fight. I go in camp and I start working on it. Next thing you know, I told one of the guys, I said, I'm gonna knock this dude out with a left hook to the body. But the reason was because he showed me how to set it up. So I went out there, I implemented it, came back around, implemented it again, came back around, implemented it. Next thing you know, I got it. And it was something that, you got people hitting you up like, wow, it wasn't never about the opponent, it's what I went out there and did. Even Jake Paul, he's my guy. He hit me up and was like, nasty, brother. He was like, that was a beautiful shot. So it circulated around. And people love what they saw. So it's like, those are the type of things that he teaches you how to go out there and do. He can't fish for us, but he could teach us how to fish. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. When you see these things with Eubank, he can't go out there and throw 3 left hooks for Eubank, but he could teach us how to do it effectively. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Like you said, you've been with Roy since 2018. That's about 4 years. What do you think it is about yourself that it sounds like things are starting to go the way you've always wanted to go now? So what do you think it is about this version of you that's more susceptible, I guess, to, I don't know, learning maybe?
And the growth?
It's one word, confidence. Confidence in what you're doing. When you go out there and you take nothing, I take nothing away from the trainers that I've been. They got me as far as they could get me, and they did a hell of a job. But the confidence comes from constantly learning and constantly seeing that what you're learning works. I mean, how could you not be confident in what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I wasn't before, but it's different now because I'm in my element. He's working with my tools and we have a great chemistry. And when you see that you're doing things that pleases your idol, it makes you even that much more confident because he's not an easy person to please. And to be honest with you, his wife is the hardest person to please because I'm gonna tell you like this. She came up with the human highlight reel, which is him. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a certain level
Standard. She's got a standard.
It's a standard. And we joked about it my last day sparring, but it's a certain standard. It's like putting on Michael Jackson's shoes. You understand what I'm saying? Those black shoes he has and those white socks. It's hard to get in there and do them same dances the way he did it. But if you could go out there and entertain and do somewhat of that, you know, it makes it that much better. So it's like when you have these type of eyes on you constantly 24/7, like Roy said, how can you not get better and get more confident? Because that's really all it's ever boiled down to me. That's why you always see me go up and you see me come down. You see me go up and you see me come down. Now I'm like, boom, boom. And that's why I plan on taking it just straight up to the top.
Let me ask you this. Has there been a moment where you've like, damn, like he's disappointed in me or like I fucked up? Because we hear certain people talk about their idols, you know, being let down in them. You know, J. Cole made a whole freaking song about letting Nas down.
Right.
So has that happened with you where, you know, maybe he was disappointed, you know, just didn't approve of something?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, that happens. That's life, you know. You know, he's never completely just been like, man, you know, I didn't like. No, it's just like, I know you're better than that. I know you have that much more in you, but we're gonna pull it out. So that's what it is. It's like, for me, it's like, yeah, I'm a perfectionist. So yeah, it's like if I do something, I'm like, damn, man, I could have did better. I'm harder on myself, but he's hard on me too, but in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those things are gonna happen, but as long as you stay solid and you guys you have that understanding, it's you know, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it just keeps me reaching because he's not gonna let me settle because he didn't settle. So he knows that it would be an injustice for him to let me settle for average or mediocre. If he sees that God blessed me with a certain amount of talent, you know, that everybody has always seen, he's not gonna let me settle for just being average with that, not without giving his best shot at it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's hard on me in a different way, you know, and I could tell if he's not feeling something. You know what I'm saying? I know him well enough now. You know, he's like a father to me, man. So I know him well enough now. If he's not feeling something, I know he's not feeling it. And but the way we handle each other was with a lot of respect. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best thing about it. He's not one of them trainers that's gonna, you know, slap you around. He may cuss a little bit. That's cool though. We're men. It's all good. It's still a level of respect. You know what I'm saying? But he's gonna do what it takes to get the best out of me and anybody else that he's working with.
Yeah, I would assume it would be that way. Like I would not want to look bad in front of Roy. You know what I'm saying?
It happens, man.
You know, you wanna make sure you can do your miles, and you know, you made sure you did your sit-ups because it's like you don't want to look bad. So I get it, man. I get it. But I know you touched on the pressure, but leaving Vegas and now coming back, you know, you have a couple wins now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you, I guess, looking forward to show people a new Kevin Newman?
Absolutely. The last time, you know, me and Roy had a fight in Vegas, I lost. It was on Showbox, and I had no excuse. I just had a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And now that we put all that stuff behind us, and a lot of people were blaming Roy for it. Roy didn't train me but a week for that fight. I went out to Pensacola. I worked with Roy for 1 week, and I left and came back and dealt with life. You know what I'm saying? We all deal with life. And so when people seen Roy in my corner, it was one of those things where everybody was putting the blame on him. And I'm like, y'all can't put the blame on Roy. Roy didn't get in there and fight for me, and Roy didn't even train me for this fight. So how can y'all put the blame on him? So for me, it's like being gone 2 years, it's like, now I got if you want to call it a chip on your shoulder or a personal vendetta to show everybody that this is something totally, totally different. And that's the thing. This is what we were working 2 years behind the scenes to get back to just a point like this, to where we can be like, okay, now we see, you know, what these two been working on, you know. So that's the best part about it. And it's like the element of surprise, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody knows. But I know, he knows what we've been doing. And that's the main thing, man. So I'm just looking forward to it, man. I actually can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm sure, man. I'm sure that's the answer I was looking for, because I'm just looking at myself in your shoes, you know.
Yeah.
And I would definitely want to let the people see what I've been working on, you
Absolutely.
know. And like you spoke about the struggles in that gym, you know, you got to take out all that on your opponent Saturday night. So I know, Roy, we have you in studio. Obviously, Deontay Wilder is scheduled to come back after saying that he may or may not retire. What do you think about Wilder and his chances versus Robert Hellenius, who's coming off of 2 knockouts over Adam Kovnacki from Brooklyn?
Yeah, well, Hellenius better be able to take a punch. That's the main thing. If you can't take a punch, you can hang it up.
Did you know they were sparring partners?
I understand that. That's what their headgear on is a whole different animal. If you can't take a punch with them 10-ounce gloves and no headgear, you don't care how much sparring you did. When it comes time to that real ring, it's who gets there first most of the time, which I know Wilder's going to get there first because he's longer and he has more experience. But in most cases, in my opinion, guys would be crazy to fight a sparring partner unless they had got the better of that sparring partner in that time. So it's like, that's why we had a problem with the Jake Paul Rockman situation. We can't figure out who really got the best of it, but we know Jake Paul still wanted to fight him. So it kind of rubbed us a little differently because that just don't add up. You understand? He wants to fight you. He sparred with you before. He knows what he's up against. He's not trying to lose right now. He's looking for a victory against a real boxer. And then we have the weight issue, so it just kind of looked kind of strange to us because I don't like those situations. You understand me? Now, don't get it wrong. Rockman had his reasons for saying, no, this, that, this, so you just never know. But them sparring situations, you can't judge a fighter by that. Him and Pearson has sparred before several times. And I knew that, but I knew that Kevin Newman was going to be different than what Chris Pearson knew before. Pearson, how do you say his name?
Pearson.
Kevin Newman is a whole different guy now if he goes in there and uses this like he's been taught to use it. You understand me? So as long as Kevin Newman go in there and beat Kevin Newman, he ain't the same Kevin Newman that Chris Pearson knew. And that's why I was eager for that fight to happen, because I know that Chris Pearson hadn't seen this version of Kevin Newman.
So you don't think that Hellenius is taking this fight because he felt confident being Wilder's sparring partner?
Like I said, Wilder just came off 2 losses. You think Wilder wants to lose again? So would he take a guy who he thought could possibly beat him if he wasn't almost sure that he was the boss when that happened? I just don't see that. Hellenius is a great opportunity for him because at least he does know about the big right hand. He knows what to be susceptible for and what to watch out for. So that's good on his part. He may be saying, you know what? I sparred with the guy, but he could be like Kevin. He could say, I've gotten better now. So he could be looking at that way too. That's true. But I just, in my opinion, like I said, if you don't have an excellent chin and you go in there with the brown bummer, if you don't watch yourself, you're going to have problems. So me going in, I'm going to go with Wilder off top just because I know Wilder also knows what he's up against. So, and unless this guy has changed trainers and gotten a whole lot better, I can't see him beating Wilder.
What about you, Kevin? What do you think in Wilder's comeback? I mean, the way Roy broke it down, it makes sense. Like, you're not going to pick a guy.
You going to lose, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but you were in that situation. Who picked who in this fight? I mean, did they already have the opponent for you?
yeah, it was just a list of guys, and they were just like, okay, well, cool, here's one. Okay, cool, let's do it. So but as far as that situation with Wilder's, like he said, if you don't got the best chin and you've been clipped a couple times, dealing with the hardest puncher in boxing outside of Tank Davis, you're gonna have some big problems on your hand, And I think Deontay Wilder, I think he got his head. It seems like he added new pieces to his team from what I've seen on social media, and it seems like he got his head on the right track. So making them changes, that's what it's always about. When you take a setback, it's reinventing yourself in another way, whether that be mentally or even physically with some new people around you. That's gonna make you do better. So I'm looking forward to the fight, though.
And I must say, too, I got to give a shout-out to my man, Bones Adams, because Bones Adams is a good trainer, a good guy, but Bones Adams has sense enough to look at Newman and say, you know what? I got him as far as I can get him. If anybody can get the best of you out of you, you need to go see Roy. And most trainers they have too much ego to give a guy to somebody that they think can help him. I will always give homage to Bones because he cares for Kevin. If he didn't care for Kevin, he just kept Kevin for himself and got the most he can got him and just kept it at that. But he told him, no, if you gonna ever advance, if Roy can't get it at you, then it ain't coming at you.
Absolutely.
And that's just what the facts were.
Roy, I gotta ask you your thoughts. Recently announced Dimitri Bivol coming off his big win against Canelo, defending his title against Zurdo Ramirez, who we've seen be champion at 168. Now he is at light heavyweight. What do you think of that fight and the possibility that if Ramirez wins, we don't see the Canelo fight because Canelo says he won't fight any Mexicans?
Well, that's not true. That's going to change because there's a Mexican hunting Canelo. If you don't fight David Benavidez within the next year or two, it's going to be hard for you to go back to Mexico because David Benavidez has made very publicly that he wants him. You can't say I don't fight Mexicans and you beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It just don't. It's not adding up to us. So we're not saying that those fights can't or won't be made. I don't buy that because, in my opinion, there's more than one way to say no to a fight. So maybe you're trying to put the David Benavidez fight off for a while, and by saying that, you're excluding all Mexicans. But we know David Benavidez wants you, and he's going to beat pretty much everybody else in the way until he gets to you. You understand me? So it's like Ramirez has a large order on his hands to beat Bivol. If he does, he'll avenge the Mexican population because Bivol beat Canelo. But that's a tough situation for him too because Bivol ain't the average Russian normal fighter. Bivol is different, and people don't understand that. I told him that before he fought Canelo. I know Canelo shouldn't beat Bivol unless Bivol lay down. If Bivol don't lay down, Canelo not beating Bivol. And Ramirez is good, but I don't really see him beating Bivol either. But now, if he goes in with a certain mindset, and it's not my job to tell him that mindset, but there is a certain mindset he can go in with, he can give Bivol some real problems.
What do you think of that fight with Canelo? Let's say Bivol wins that fight with Ramirez. Canelo says he still wants that rematch. What can Canelo do, if anything, in your eyes, to be successful against Bivol?
Just got to change the fight plan. The fight plan he had in the beginning was totally wrong. Now there's another fight plan, but once again,
Can't tell him.
I can't tell him. I can't tell him. But my point is that same fight plan is the same fight plan you should have used against Floyd when he was 21. You didn't use it against Floyd when you was 21. You didn't use it against Bivol when you're 33. So it's like, are you ever gonna get that? We don't know. Are you even hungry enough to get that? You understand me? I don't know. But that fight plan has to be about hunger.
So there's a couple of other upcoming fights. Obviously, Devin Haney has to go back to Australia. You both know him well. I mean, you basically came up with him. Do you think he can do it again under the same circumstances? At least this time we know Bill will get into the country on time.
He's gonna do it and do it better. I have nothing but, faith in that kid. I've came up with him since he first started. Me and him talk about it all the time. And he was 7 years old. He turned 8. He called me 7 in the morning. Kev, man, you coming to take me to the weigh-in so we could go fight? Calling me a little kid, just ready, man. And I've seen things in that kid that's just different. So I understand. Like with him, that's gonna be another easy night out for him. And like I said, he could do it bigger and do it better this next time out. It's just all up to him and what he goes out there and decides to do. I think that that wasn't even the best of him that you've seen. You've seen him go out there and secure the victory and dominate from round 1 to 12. But he did that with just a jab. Now imagine when he puts both hands behind it. And maybe he wants a little bit more respect or a little bit more just due. Maybe he might just want a little more, and then we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? He could come out there and
Get the stoppage.
You just never know, So I mean, I believe in him, man. He's gonna go out there, like I said, and I know Bill's gonna have a great game plan for him and his team that they have. And of course, I'm gonna give him my little pointers like I always do. That's family. So I'm just looking forward to it.
Roy, you think Haney gets it done again versus Kambosos in Australia, October 15th?
Yeah, I do. I think he definitely gets it done again. It's, like Kevin said, it's just a matter of how he chooses to get it done. If you beat him with one hand, you definitely can beat him with two or should be able to beat him with two. So it's just a matter of him being comfortable, more comfortable this time because he's done it already. So it's like the first time was the most pressure, and Kambosos didn't use the pressure to his favor. This time the pressure's on him So Devin has nothing to worry about. This time Devin can relax because he's been there and done that now and do it to the way that he really wants to do it now. Last time he had to be a little bit more cautious because he had never been there before. He had 50,000 people rooting against him. He had never been overseas to fight somebody like that, of that caliber, and that guy was the champion. All these things he had never faced before. Now he's been there, done that. Should be much easier for him the second time.
Roy, who do you see giving Devin his biggest challenge? I mean, he's been at 35 his whole career. You know, we saw him and Gervonta Davis have a recent back and forth. Gervonta saying, like, you know I'm the man.
They're literally having one right now.
Oh, wow.
Right now, as we're having this show, Devin says, this guy's a clown. Say I want to be like him. Everybody getting money, shopping at the same stores, buying the same cars, doing all the same shit. Been the same cycle forever. Tell that insecure punk, if he got a problem with guys across town having just as much as him, to jump off a bridge.
You heard that?
Then he said, now go to the store and get some belts.
And before that, he said he never gonna fight nobody. He 27 with a Mickey Mouse belt, and the best person on his resume is Pedraza. Get the fuck out of here. Palm on my face, clown emoji. So it's definitely a fight. I've been to numerous Tank fights. I love that crowd. I've been to numerous Haney fights. I love that crowd. I've never been to other fights where I've seen that many different Lamborghinis and that many colors. I want to see those crowds come together. This is a fight I would love. Again, I'm going to start with you because you've been in the gym probably with both of them.
Yeah.
So how does this one go? And if I understand it's a little close to home if you can't pick a winner because you watch them both come up. It's understandable.
I'm rocking with Dev through whatever. Anybody you put in front of him in 35 and 40, I'm rocking with the kid. Like I said, I seen the kid from when he was a young kid. You understand what I'm saying? All the way up. And I know the skills that he has, the confidence that he has, his work ethic is crazy. You know, so I'm rocking with him. It's to me, you know, everybody has a puncher's chance, you know, and you know, Tank that Devin versus Tank is a great fight. You know, that's not an easy fight for either guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, but I'm rocking with Haney through anything.
Were you there when they sparred at Floyd's?
I was there, but I had a fight the next day. So I came. Floyd had called everybody to the gym because he wanted everybody to watch them box, and I came, but they was taking too long. I'm like, man, I got to fight tomorrow. So I wasn't there specifically when they sparred, but I heard about the session though. I mean, you know, I think everybody heard about it.
Everybody heard about it. Bill, make sure we hear about it.
Yeah, Bill is that dude, man. When you talk about a real, you know, father, dude backs his kids, man, and you know, it's something that I admire, something that I look up to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he has his kids back through whatever, man, and he pushed them to be great, and you can't do nothing but respect that, you know. Absolutely. So shout out to BH, the great.
Shout out to BH.
For real, he is. I mean, we say it all the time. It's like the type of father he is. Like to have Devin in his life and still be the type of father he is to every other child. Yeah. Like he still, like he'll show up to our show. We go live 6 a.m. This is our second studio. We have a morning studio that we do from 6 a.m. to around 9 a.m. Bill will drop the kids off and pop up like 8 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. Like,
yeah, just drop the kids off at
still
school.
Be with the wife in the car. Like he's a super duper role model for real. Like people may not know he's a great guy.
Roy,
any upcoming fights?
Roy ain't give his thoughts on that. Roy, how do you see that Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis?
I think it's a tough fight for both fighters. It's a matter of who goes out and has their way. The good thing about Devin is he can box or he can brawl a little bit. We know Tank is better at brawling than he is at boxing, but he did show us against the last guy that he can box when necessary. So it's an interesting fight, and what it is one of those fights that the fans love, and I think it will bring everybody out. Devin is one of those guys that I think, in my opinion, I was going to tell you earlier, I forgot his name slipped my mind, but he's one of those guys that I think, those guys that want to be the best at their weight class. He wants to be the best. And to want to be the best, you got to want to fight the best. So when he makes reference to the guys Tank has fought, he's basically telling you that, look, he hasn't fought anybody to prove that he's the best. I'm willing to fight whoever's necessary to prove that I'm the best. That's what I look for in boxing. I want guys that want to play king of the hill. Devin wants to be king of the hill. And I tell you another dude that's going to be a problem down the line too, and it's a matter of when they catch up, is Shakur. When Shakur comes up and weight a little bit more, which he's coming, when these fights start to materialize, when they start getting these catch weight fights with people like Haney, Shakur, Garcia, this thing gonna get interesting between 140 and 135. It's gonna get highly interesting because some of the guys are already big enough to make 140. Some of them are already big enough to make 47, but they're still fighting at the lower weights just to get their names built up right. At some point, they're gonna have to cross that bridge.
So when it's all said and done, who the last man standing?
You know, it's gonna be, in my opinion, just my humble opinion, gonna be between Haney and Shakur.
That's what everybody's saying too.
And I like Garcia too. I ain't gonna count him out, but I want to see what happens with him and Tank, because I think the first one of them that hits the other is gonna be the winner of that fight, and that's gonna be a very interesting one to see as well.
Have you liked what you've seen from Ryan in his last 2 fights working with Goosen now that he's no longer with Eddie Reynoso?
I love what I've seen in Ryan. You know, I always thought Ryan had the speed and the explosiveness to make any fight interesting. Now, I didn't like the fact that he was dropped over there by the guy in overseas
Luke
in London.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Luke Campbell.
I didn't like that he was dropped by Luke Campbell, because that showed me that if he's not smart and Tank gets to him first, Tank can get him out. But at the same time, it's a matter about how smart he is. And it's like boxing, people don't understand, boxing maneuvers are different. And this is what Kevin Newman is learning right now. In his first day of sparring, not long ago, he sparred a guy. He started too fast for me. And I had to tell him, hey, you can't start that fast, because sometimes it only take one. If you give that guy that one, it could be over. So with Tank and Ryan, Tank has to do just like he did with Rolly.
With Rolly.
You got to be careful and know what you're doing, because you don't want to give Rolly a shot. If Rolly hits you one time, it could be over. Same with Garcia. But now we know that Tank has had the experience because he did it with Rolly. Rolly ain't as good as Garcia, but he still had to have the same
Mentality.
as he going to have to fight Garcia. So if he can duplicate that, then we see what happens.
Do you think that Ryan would have more success against a Tank or against somebody like Devin who boxes? Because it seems in his last couple fights, you know, despite of the outcome, you know, he ain't really cutting off the ring. So I wonder, how is that going to be with the guy who can move, a guy like a Devin who's a boxer, who's on the outside.
And pivots so well.
Shooting that jab, you get what I'm saying? How do you think he fares against those guys?
Well, this is why the Tank fight is so interesting. Tank showed you last fight against Rolly that he can do some of those things too. That's why it's so interesting to me as to who would catch who first. The Devin Haney fight would definitely be harder for him, because Devin ain't trying to go all in. Devin's smart. Devin gonna pick you, pop you, wait till he finds an opportunity, then he'll get you, but he not coming out to go all in. Tank sometimes comes out to go all in, and that gives you a better opportunity to get him too. So Devin would definitely be a more difficult fight for Garcia right now, but don't just write Tank off, because Tank showed against Rolly, he can use his feet in box too when necessary. So it all depends on the mindset that Tank takes in there.
I want to get your thoughts, obviously, as a legend, something that the, boxing industry is kind of, it's a debate, right? Like, a lot of people want Keith Thurman to give Jaron Boots Ennis that opportunity he needs, right? Keith doesn't want to be a gatekeeper. He's saying on interviews, I'm not a gatekeeper. He wants Crawford. He wants Earl Spence. I think that this version of Keith, especially not being able to knock out Barrios, isn't yet 100%. Like, as a competitor, I would have took it. I don't know. You guys are the boxers. You tell me. Tank is knocking out Barrios, and a grown-ass welterweight that moved up to 54 once in his career, he had to outbox Barrios. I don't really want to see you fight Jaron. You're not going to show me what I need to know from Jaron. I need to know, is he the goods? Is he as good as Earl and Crawford? Should he be in there with Earl and Crawford? Is Keith the guy to show us that?
Keith is not the guy to show you that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Keith, and you got to understand Keith's stance. Keith's stance, I understand that I struggled against that guy. So why would I go take a chance against him to let y'all find out with me, is he the goods or not, when I still think I can be the goods against the right guy? So let me take my chances still for here with my opportunity to fight the right guy. Let him go find somebody else to show y'all he the goods. Or if he goes out and proves he's the goods, then I'll fight him, because it's worth my time just like it's worth his time. But right now, it's not worth my time to show y'all or to use me to find out if he's the goods, when what do I gain from that? If I beat him, I'm supposed to beat him. If I don't beat him, I'm trash. I ain't gonna get my shot. So he's looking at both sides of the coin.
But
And
do you think Keith will open up a favorite over Jerron Boots Ennis?
I don't know. I really don't know.
What about you, Kevin?
I think with the Boots in this thing, I think it's one of those situations like it's similar to Roy. You know, you've seen the talent, you've seen what he has, you see the speed, the power, and him knocking guys out. Right, it's very similar. And then you didn't know it's going to be one of them situations where he's going to have to get in there with Crawford or Spence to find out if and just like he had to do with James Toney, he had to get in there with James for everybody to give him that just due. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he beat B-Hop, but he had to get in there with the number one pound for pound guy in the sport and completely dominate him. And then everybody's like, okay, yeah, this guy's the real deal.
But before Roy got in there, James had to give him the fight. And that's the thing.
No, I know that. But I'm saying I think that's the only way you're going to find out about Boots Ennis being the real deal in that weight class, because I don't think he's going to show that with the Keith Thurman. I think he beats Keith Thurman personally. I don't think that's the guy. I think he needs the best guy in the division, whether that be Spence or whether that be Crawford, to show that, you know, okay, this kid is the real deal. And it's that's the type of standard that I think that he's at, honestly.
So let me ask you guys, should and do you both, as not only boxers but fight fans, want the winner of Spence and Bud to give Ennis a shot? Or if it's Crawford, do you want him to do what he said and go fight Charlo? Because he obviously has a thing with Charlie, called him a cheerleader. He wants some sauce with Charlo, so I really don't mind that. But you got Boots there. Should the winner of that fight give that man an opportunity?
Wait a minute. What's wrong with the loser giving him the opportunity?
I mean, do we really want to put the loser off a loss in there with Boots?
I
don't even want Keith in there looking the way he look in there with Boots.
But they're the top of the division. These two have risen to the top.
So they don't need to lick their wounds after a loss.
No, they don't. They need to go and show us that they still got it, or that they still want to be the man. Because if, for instance, if he beats Spence, I still want to see Spence and Boots. Because Spence gonna show me, is Boots good enough to be the top man of the division or not? Because if he can't beat Spence, he ain't finna be the top man of the division. Or if Spence beat Crawford, then I still want to see Boots fight Crawford to show me that he's still good enough to overtake the division. Or if Crawford said, no, he's not ready yet. So that's gonna still prove the point. More so than him fighting
Charlo.
No, more so than
Thurman.
Yeah, more so than fighting Thurman. Because these two dudes are the top of the division. You understand me? So one of them lose, that don't mean much. They still the top of the welterweight division. If the other one goes on to like, if he goes on to fight one of the Charlo brothers, then yeah, I want to see Spence fight Boots. Because if Crawford leaves the division after he beats Spence, Spence still the man of the division. If Spence leaves the division after he beat Crawford, Crawford's still the man of the division.
Really?
Of course.
Off a loss? Hell no. I'm going to be like, you got to fight Boots now.
Hey, but you lost to the best.
You did.
You lost to the best.
But now there's someone else out there that's got a claim to that.
No. There's someone else that's claiming he might be the best. Well, you lost to the best gone. So if you lost to the best, that's the only person you lost to, you the best right now. Now you want to prove you the best, you come fight me. Because the best left, I'm the best now. You understand me? So you want to prove you the best, you come fight me. Not nobody else. I'm the best when he leave.
I swear I was going to make that the last one. This is the last one, gentlemen. This is the last one, gentlemen. Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. Does it happen? Who wins?
Go ahead, Kel.
Tyson Fury, Usyk. I'm going with Fury in that one. I think he's, what is he, like 6'8" or something like that?
6'9".
6'9", like with
275.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and with his skill set, and as much of he is a dog. Tyson Fury's a dog. And he knows all the dirty tricks in the game. He's gonna lean on you. He's gonna use his size. He's gonna use everything to his advantage, and he can box off the back foot. I mean, I just don't see Usyk being big enough or having enough to beat him. Maybe he might give him a little bit of trouble, but I just think that Tyson Fury is just. I mean, he's huge, man. I mean, and he beat the bronze bomber. He beat Vlad. He beat all these guys, and he. I don't know, man. He's just the guy right now. He just really is the guy. And I just see that, Usyk, like I said, he could cause a little bit of trouble, but he's a little older now. I think he's 35, 36 or something like that. So he's getting up there. So it's like that fight has to happen now. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with Bud. I think Bud is 34, 35?
34.
So it's like, yeah, like even, just to cut back to that situation, if Bud don't get Spence, he need to go up there and fight Charlo. and make something happen with that. But I think that Tyson Fury, I think he beats Usyk, and I think it'll be competitive early on. But I think that I think he might maybe even be able to get a stoppage, honestly.
What about you, Roy? You picking Big Loma?
Big Loma.
No, I'm not picking Big Loma because one thing Big Loma lacks is explosiveness. And to be the little man fighting a big man, you got to have explosiveness. That's why I wasn't afraid to go to the heavyweight division. I knew I had explosiveness. So anywhere I go, I'm taking explosiveness with me. If you don't have explosiveness, it's going to be difficult to beat a bigger man. That's why they say usually a good big man beats a good small man, because if y'all both got the same tools, then he has an advantage. Now, put on top of that, he's 6'9". How you going to reach him? So it's like people don't understand that. That's what makes the Tyson Fury dream fight against Mike Tyson, a dream fight against Muhammad Ali. What makes them so difficult to call the outcome is not his skill level, his height along with the skill level.
And the reach.
He's very smart.
He leans back too, Roy.
That's what I'm saying. He's very smart, but he's 6'9". That's not normal. Guys, you don't beat a 6'9" heavy bag. You don't find many 6'9" sparring partners. You don't get the opportunity to prepare for that because that's
Let alone to move the way that he moves.
That's my point. He got skill to go along with all that. So with that advantage, I got to give it to him.
All right, we're leaving. We're leaving.
Hold on.
We're leaving.
That was your last one. Last one for me.
What? You throwing in one too?
One more. Roy, just because we was talking heavyweights, who's the next American heavyweight champion of the world?
Man, it's hard to say because I haven't really seen a lot of up-and-coming heavyweights. You understand me? But there are some good ones coming. I've seen a few. And, you know, I'm gonna keep it real with you. One guy who I thought could have became heavyweight champ, and if he gets the right toolage, he still is a possibility, and that's Big Baby.
With Miller?
Yeah, I think
Big Baby. The other Big Baby. I
You
think
talking
the
about
other one.
Anderson?
Jared
I
Anderson?
think Jared Anderson is the next
Which one? You talking about the young
He's talking
one?
about Big Baby Miller.
I'm talking Big Baby Miller.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Anderson.
I like Big Baby's movement. I like Big Baby's hand speed. With the right people in his corner, Big Baby can really be a problem because he has something that most heavyweights don't have. We don't see a lot of fluidity in the heavyweight division now. Big Baby had that. And I just feel bad because he went the wrong route with it, but he had some good things.
Kevin.
Hopefully he hears this, man. Y'all get together, man.
Kevin, now what you were saying?
I said the other Jared. And I like Big Baby Miller. Don't get me wrong, he's a real cool guy. You know, we chopped it up a few times. It's all love every time I see him. But I think that Jared Anderson, the kid that Jay Prince got, I think that kid is
He's special.
He's nice.
I've seen people work out, bro. I never seen a heavyweight other than Fury. I feel like I've seen Fury once or twice with ankle weights, but I never seen a heavyweight work out with ankle weights. That dude work out with ankle weights.
And I just never seen him that much yet because I heard a lot about him. I just haven't seen him, but they did tell me he's the goods. And from what I've seen, he probably will be the next because he hasn't lost nothing to throw him off track. So he'll probably be the next heavyweight champ. But both Big Babies, I think, one of the two gonna be next champ.
Yours has got a quicker route. He's actually in a WBA title fight coming up pretty soon, I think in Colombia or something. So he's gonna eventually fight in the UK on Frank Warren, Greg Cohen co-promotions. So Big Baby's been moving since he's been back.
Well, Roy likes Shakur, so I think you definitely gonna like Jerry. You know, they train out the same gym, and we've been fortunate for a while to be able to get in there. And special.
Awesome.
He's special. But Roy, Kevin, thank you both very much for joining us in studio. I know it's fight week for you. We wish you the best on Saturday.
Man. Appreciate it.
We're going to take a quick intermission, take a picture with you, and we'll be back. What up, YouTube family? Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.